I warn my readers that the following account of the first contact with a new alien race will sound like fiction. I assure you it is not, and I was witness firsthand to the event. When first contact was made with the alien race which identified itself as humans, better known in the universal community as shamblers, due to the odd bipedal locomotion they call walking, it was assumed that the members of the species piloting the spacecraft were insane and not representative of the rest of the humans. It turns out this assessment was completely wrong. Humans were first discovered just outside of System 895b in a medium-sized vessel, relative to commercial transports, carrying a crew of 500. Initial analysis of the spacecraft assumed that the ship had been extensively damaged and that the humans had been forced to make emergency repairs in flight. Once the translation machinery had catalogued enough of their language to effect communication, it became apparent that not only had there been no damage to the ship, it was the most advanced craft ever created, according to the crew. This was shocking and terrifying at the same time, as the humans were essentially traveling in a metal tube strapped to a giant radioactive pulse engine. At first I thought this to be a practical joke of some sort. But it became clear rather quickly that this group of humans had no innate drive for self-preservation. When moving between ships, the humans donned pressurized suits, which were little more than several layers of strong fabric filled with breathable gas. Now I know this sounds absurd to us, but they sincerely believed this to be completely safe and claimed that they had fail-safes built in to prevent malfunctions from causing their insides to become their outsides. Additionally, their method for ensuring none of them drifted off into the void was to tie a length of metal string to their craft and to attach themselves to it. They fully trusted this metal string to protect them. The final ridiculous safety feature was a small canister of compressed gas with a directionally controlled nozzle, which would be used in an emergency to push them through space. I couldn't believe that they had made it this far from their home planet. Upon inspecting their spacecraft further, it became apparent that they lacked sufficient shielding to have survived space travel. When asked how they had avoided radiation and space debris, the humans showed us their novel and ridiculous method for shielding. The nose, front of their craft had a long and thin rod, 1/3 the size of the ship, which ended in a round sphere. The humans told us that this sphere emitted an extremely powerful magnetic field. They had another of these machines installed at the nose of the craft, and together these overlapping magnetic fields pushed space debris and radiation away from the vessel, even when traveling near the speed of light. They achieved near light speed by accelerating the ship through a magnetic cannon, and then maintained speed by pushing the spacecraft on a constant stream of radioactive particles. I am sure you are twitching your mandibles right now in disbelief. How did they slow down, you must be thinking. This is the most absurd part of the story yet. They had what they called parachutes. Apparently back on their home planet, they discovered how to fly, but couldn't find a safe way to fly, so instead of figuring out the most reliably safe method, like any sane and self-aware creature, they strapped large pieces of fabric to themselves, which would slow them down as they fell through the gaseous atmosphere. Apparently some of the species do this on a somewhat frequent basis for fun. This same concept had been applied to the spacecraft, and upon reaching their destination, a planet much like their planet of origin, they deployed massive metallic fabric half-spheres out of the rear of the craft to catch solar radiation and slow the craft down without liquefying the inhabitants. These giant metal sails were only attached to the craft with more metal string, and they assured us that each cable could lift the entire craft by itself. Further investigation and questioning led us to discover that not only did this group of humans think all of this was perfectly acceptable, they claimed they were among the most intelligent of their species. And that was how they had been selected to crew the ship. The final and most ridiculous of their claims was that it took them only 200 circlings of their sun, equivalent to 100 circlings of my home planet, from the discovery of flight in atmosphere to today. Based on this claim, all of the evidence, and my interactions with them, I can say that I am absolutely certain this species has no genetic drive to preserve their own lives. They are a short-lived species, the oldest of them only reaching 100 years on average, without medical intervention, which then only extends their life another 50 years on average. Compared to the average lifespan of 1,000 human years for my own species, this may explain why they did not evolve a drive for self-preservation. Everything the humans do is the first way they discover, that doesn't kill all of them. They do not try to discover the safest manner in which to complete a task, they instead find the easiest method that probably won't kill them. I do not think we should have made contact with them. I fear for the safety of the entire universe if these humans discover a method to travel faster than light, for it will most assuredly involve ripping apart the fabric of space. Author's name and link to original text is in the description.